Well, it's going to be a fun day on the farm today. I know I haven't done many videos lately, and I might get into that later on, but behind me is my red beast. But today, we're actually going to try something a little bit different. We're going to demo a Claas combine, a 7400 from HJV Equipment. Hear a lot of good things about these combines. We're not sure if we're going to upgrade our combine yet. We've had this combine for 6 years, which might not seem like a lot to some people, but we kind of look at hours, depreciation, repair and maintenance on a combine versus our acres, and to a certain degree reliability. So we kind of have been flipping every 5 years. I have really liked this combine. I do really like this combine. It's a 7120, but we always are, at some point we are going to have to upgrade. So we're going to probably kick the tires on a few different combines and just see what we're thinking and what we like and what we don't like of some. So I heard a lot of good things about a Claas combine, so we're going to give one a whirl. Corn harvest has been going kind of slow. It's been really wet, so we were out of the fields for 8 days. We tried this week, kind of Monday, Tuesday, and it was not conducive. Every time we went to the field, it started to rain. So we're just going to get the combine out here. We might combine a little bit before the demo shows up, just because the dryer is out of corn. We finally found some dryer corn today or yesterday, and so it's going through the dryer a lot quicker. But we'll just get the red combine out here, and we might get into combine a little bit before the demo shows up. So we're rocking and rolling here in the Claas combine, a 7400, which is a Class 6 combine. We have different classes of combines, kind of based on engine horsepower now. It used to be the size of the grain tank that determined how big a combine was. Now it's horsepower. I don't know what the horsepower is on this combine. My case combine that I have, the 7120, is a Class 7. So this is technically
how long do you have that for?
one size smaller. So now that I got just sorted out, so this is a Class 6, but what's interesting about it is how much more maybe cleaning area it has and the length of the rotor and how it works, and I'll maybe get more into that a little later. But right now, last night on mine we were running about 4.2 miles an hour and about 120 bushel corn, or sorry, not 220 bushel corn. This corn is about the same yield. This combine's able to put it through, we're doing 5 miles an hour right now, without loss or issues with the cleaning, the threshing and cleaning on this combine. It's pretty unique. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and just give you a view of what I see. The one thing I have to say, this combine is very quiet. Cab's really nice, the seat's really nice, but here's kind of the display we have, and it's a lot like an iPad where if I hit something I can go in and do some changings on the settings. So it's all pretty intuitive that way. The joystick is right here. This is kind of what I go back and forth on. Header controls here, some other controls up here, and the auger stuff is right there. They do have a camera on the auger, which helps in terms of unloading in the buggy. They're running John Deere yield monitor here, and guidance on the head has a couple feelers so it knows where it is in the row. So there's little blue things down there in the front, right down there, that are kind of feeling where the corn rows are and steering the combine to stay in between the corn rows. It unloads crazy. It's a fast unload, more than ours. It takes a fair bit of horsepower from the combine when we're unloading. I'll give you a shot of that once we get back at it. And yeah, it's pretty good. The Geringhoff head, I've never run a Geringhoff head before, or Geringhoff, however you want to call it. This is a Northstar that's chopping. We don't have the chopping on right now. We're just doing it kind of normal like our Drago does. It's doing a good job, not a lot of trash going in, don't see much butt shelling. Kernels coming off the cobs as it's going in. Like the job it's doing, very similar to our Drago, which I'm really happy with. So it's nice to kind of see how that works. Kind of down here when we're looking at this stuff, we have speed here, which is 5 miles an hour, and kind of engine load. We're running right now around 62 to 70% engine load. You get into those higher yielding areas on the corn, it's going to take more engine power to kind of move that material. You know, that's, I guess, the joys of higher yielding crops is that it's high yielding, and it's going to take a little bit more power to put through the combine. What's different about this combine is it actually has a cylinder in the front and rotors to separate. My case uses the rotor to not only thresh the crop, the kernels off the corn cob, but also separate it. So we have a kind of a big tube in our combine that does all that. This one here, it's actually got a cylinder that runs kind of back and forth here on the kind of right underneath where I'm sitting. And there's 3 of them, and they all kind of help separate the crop off the cob and get the grain into the clean system, and then the rotors help separate any extra that didn't make it out. Most of the threshing happens on the first 2 cylinders, or all of it does, and then the 3rd cylinder basically just divides the crop up into the 2 rotors. And that's the thing about this one, it's a twin rotor for separation, so there's 2 rotors. That's what that 3rd cylinder does, is separate the crop to go into the 2 rotors. So unloading on the go, and Cheese is humping the corn out there. I gotta give Jess credit, doing an awesome job in the buggy. She doesn't have a camera that she's used to, so she's kind of guessing here on where to go, but she's got it kind of figured out now. We've done about 27 acres with it so far. Kind of got the scoop and the feel for it. I've only screwed up once where I hit the wrong button and stopped the threshing. It spilt a little bit of corn on top of the cab, so a little bit of cab corn, but fast unload. Well, what's interesting about this one versus my case, and there's quite a bit of difference in technology between the 2 combines, because my case is a 2009, this is a brand new model, is that there's 2 augers in the bottom of the grain tank on the combine. When I stop the unload, those 2 augers shut off, and the main auger that you see unload right now here, it runs for another 10 seconds to clean it all out. So that's really awesome. We don't have that ability on our case, and sometimes we get jammed where we can't get the tube or the auger unloaded, and it's not always ideal. So kind of a neat feature. I know it's kind of common now on all the newer combines, but it's something that we've never had before, so I find it neat. So there, I shut it off, and those augers are done running, and that tube's cleaning out, so pretty cool. So I've done some comparisons and talked about features on this combine versus my case. You know, really it's not a fair comparison between the two, just because the year of my combine, it's a 2009, so it doesn't have a lot of those options that are available now on newer combines. And that's, you know, kind of why we're looking at combines, because there's a lot of newer features on them, some technology, and a lot's changed since 2009 to, you know, 2019, 2020 on the combine. So we're talking 10 years, and that's why, you know, some of these features are here and other ones aren't. So that's kind of why it's neat to, you know, try new stuff and see what it does compared to what you're used to. But, you know, is it fair to compare the two? I think fundamentally, in the way a combine works, threshing and cleaning, yeah, it's fair to compare them. I think when you get into some of those other options in technology, like the unload or you know, auto flow sensing on the combine. It's kind of hard to compare those two things from one combine to the other, but I think raw fundamentals, I think it's fair to compare. And really, it's just there's a fair bit of cleaning capacity on this. I think that's the one thing that my case combine struggles with, is the SIF area is just a little low. The next model up on my case does have a bigger area for cleaning, which would be a benefit. We struggle in wheat the most because of the material going in, how heavy it is, and we just get lost at the back. I heard these things are, the Claas combine is very good in wheat that way, and a lot of it has to do with how much time the material has to stay in the combine to get cleaned out. So overall, it's pretty cool. I love the technology. I love the user interface on it. It's still got the old school switches. For those who like that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's kind of fun to drive one of these after you see them all the time. So I'm gonna get back at it, and hope to get the drone up and get a little footage that way. So I got the drone up to get some footage of Jeremy, who brought the combine for the demo, Jeremy Noble from HJB. Really nice to finally put a face to the name. Heard lots about him, and appreciate him coming out and setting up this demo for us today. So I got him to run his combine, and I took some footage on the end there, and then riding with Jess in the buggy. So pretty interesting perspective, getting the drone up and unloading on the go. So yeah, gonna run this combine for a few more acres, I think, here today. See how it makes out, and then go back to my case, which is good too. Just because our yield monitor and all that other technology's in it, so it's kind of nice to have that stuff, because I got some varieties that are stripped out over on this other side. We're in this block here because it's all one variety, and we're not doing any variety comparison, so it's pretty interesting just to run here and not worry about having to have all my technology to monitor yields and strips of different hybrids. So we'll pick away at this. I think we might have to shut down here for about 20 minutes, half hour, just to let Sandy catch up with the wagons. She's hauling a little farther than she was before, so we're keeping her hopping. And I might stop and have my lunch. I haven't had lunch yet, so but yeah, been pretty fun to run this combine, and it's pretty interesting to see some of the technology now that's in them, and how that is changing things, and how things are working now with some newer technology. So I think with that, I'll sign off. I might do a little walk around with it tomorrow morning. He's not sure what time he's going to pick it up. He's leaving at our place for the night, so if it works out, we'll do a little walk around, and yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it. It's a pretty nice seat too. It's got a high back. It's kind of like a lazy boy, so I feel like a lazy boy on the combine. But yeah, I don't know, it's like a kid at a candy store. I'm just gonna wipe the smile off my face. So with that, we'll talk to you later.